What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Verdependent podcast, where we depend on the Verde and Black for our everyday vibes. This episode is brought to you by AC Memento. AC Memento, your digital sports and concert scrapbook. Download Memento today by following the link in the show notes or on any of our social profile bios. Quick question, Lobar, what's your November Memento action looking like? Any concerts or sporting events?
Oh, brother, I had the number one concert of my year. That came about surprisingly in October. Tame Impala released an album, and one of his first stops on his world tour was Austin. So I held that shit down on the ground level, just standing there, just staring at the light show. I had a great time.
Hell yeah.
Ruled. So that's
you need to put that on Memento, bro. I have not seen that.
No, I need to. I'm sorry. I'm still reminiscing. I haven't moved beyond the night in my memory. So I need to add that. Probably a couple of UT sports. I'll probably end up at a men's basketball game before the holidays, and then maybe a Baylor Bears game over Thanksgiving break. So, with the extended fam. So,
there you go. Yeah, I know. I've also had a concert recently here. Had a chance to go see Lil Sims with Larizi opening up, which I had never heard of Larizi, but dude, he is a fun rapper out of the New Orleans, Louisiana area, nice. And they brought it, and so that's definitely going on. My Memento for a little bit, and then gonna see if I can try and make it down to San Antonio, catch some Spurs action, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that's a given.
Got to do that. But
yep,
I digress. Moving forward, just a friendly reminder that this November on the podcast is Movember for us. Movember is a movement born in Australia back in 2003 with the mission of funding men's health projects around the world. Their efforts are largely focused on three of the biggest issues affecting men: mental health and suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. So I figured, Lobar, in an effort to help start those conversations, not just between you and I, but with our listeners, with friends and family, figured I'd give you the mic to just kind of share some things that you've learned about Movember and start from there.
Yeah, so first thing with Movember, right, you got to have the stash. And when you see the stash out in public, give that little, like, the Jeep wave of men's mental health where you're like, hey, I see you with the stash. And Movember has partnered with CVS to provide discounts and on all of the men's grooming products that you'll need to make your mustache as Movember-y as possible. They also have donated $100,000 to the cause. On that note, the boys here at the Verdependent and our boy Lojo, who got us on this wave, we all donated ourselves at us.movember.com. So feel free to donate. The money that goes to Movember goes to a multitude of different organizations and initiatives that battle prostate and testicular cancer and promote conversations and resources for men's mental health. So I recommend taking a look at their website, read about their story, drop a donation if you have some change to spare, and read through all the different organizations that they recommend and support so you can see where your impact is going.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I love it. And I know for me, like, when I first heard about this, it was one of those things where Lojo brought it up, and I was like, man, I'm not very good about, like, the themed months, right? Like, I don't do like Men's Health Month because I think it should be like a lifestyle. It should be a thing, right? But I think it always helps bring people awareness to these causes, right? And so I definitely recommend that you check it out.
Yeah.
Talk to your boys. Make sure your fellas out there in your life are doing okay.
And reach out to us. Reach out to us if you want to just chat. Talk footy. I know we're all missing footy right now, so that can put the mood down sometimes.
Feel that, bro.
Things in life. So
little seasonal depression might be kicking in. A little earlier sundown time.
The early playoff exit, all of the above. Here we are.
Bro. Yeah,
but for real.
Yeah.
If you want to just chat about it or bond over the conversations of mental health.
Shout out. Hell yeah, man. Well, looking back at the reason for the season, Austin FC, this week we're looking at Austin's available options expiring in 2025, touching base with the NWSL playoff action, and turning our attention to the MLS Round 1 playoffs before closing out the episode with a stoppage time rundown of the hottest Austin FC, MLS, and World Footy storylines of the past week. I'm Paul Fletes.
And I'm Logan Bartlett.
Hell yeah, that was quite the intro, actually, but I felt like that was necessary to get everything in there. But it wouldn't be a podcast episode if we didn't have some preheated takes to kick us off. So, my man, what do you got for us?
So a little bit of a forecast into the next bit of conversation. I believe that Austin will re-sign a majority of their contract options this offseason, giving us a little less, fewer new faces than we expect this offseason.
You're expecting new faces?
I'm
I feel like
expecting fewer new faces than people might want. I think we're going to bring back a majority of these players who have options,
for sure. Yeah,
and we'll have just a few spots to fill with new guys. I think
I
we
hear
play
that.
with continuity and internal growth, with growth around the fringes to
Yeah,
elevate our floor. So
hear that. I hear that. That's what's up. Yeah, I know for me, I'm looking more on the ownership level for MLS owners. And that is that we've heard grumblings, not grumblings, but like rumblings of a vote happening in the near future for the league to adopt a fall spring calendar.
yep.
And I I think I'm going to start riding that wave now. I've been so against it and just thinking that the league is never going to do this, but
Mm.
something tells me this year that within the next 2 years, this is my hot take, MLS owners will approve a flip to a fall spring calendar, and we're going to get that coveted, world sinking
Hmm.
that everyone's been asking for. Many folks have been asking for. So
Yeah, I'm excited for this conversation. We'll be talking about it a little bit more later and moving forward in the off season as more news comes out. So we'll get more
for
on it.
sure. Hell yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the main business of the first half, which is the options situation with Austin FC. So,
Hmm.
as the season has wrapped up, it's officially one of my least favorite times of the year, the off season, because you just never really know what's going to happen, and the hope is just constantly staring you in the face, and it doesn't feel good for me. So, with contracts ending in 2025 with an option for 26, the club is counting their beans and having a look at who gets picked up, declined, and renegotiated for the following season. So, Lobar, you and I are going to look at each player that has their option up, their guaranteed comp, and you and I are going to decide whether Austin should pick up the option or move on.
Yep.
You've already heard this for some of your other outlets, but your boys here are going to give it a shot too. So let's go ahead and start off with everyone's favorite center back, BHI, 325K. I mean, what are you feeling?
I think he's an obvious pick up the option.
Mm,
Like, he started a majority of almost every game in our best
right.
defensive season. He is a steal for the impact he gives us. Sure, sometimes he may look the worth of
The
his
price.
transfer fee, but
Mhm.
he's steady, and you can't
Yeah.
really discount that. So that's me. I think we pick him up, and I think it's a no brainer for the front office.
I agree too. Yeah, there's not too much dissent or disagreement here between our opinions here, but yeah, I'm gonna just back that up. Um, I think for that range, 325, is good starter MLS quality for a center back, and so would not be surprised to see BHI back in Verde for 26. Looking at the midfield, we've got Danny Pereira,
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed compensation $514,375. What are we thinking?
It's another no-brainer for me. I think his value is also a steal for what his worth on the field is for us. He's our first ever super draft pick,
Mm-hmm.
day one starter for the club, more or less, and an integral cog to all things we do in the midfield. So I think he sticks around. I think it's an obvious one. He may be a guy where we see, a new contract in the works, and we technically don't pick it up because we sign him long term. I could see that. I could see his office pushing, or his agents pushing for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we keep him around at least one more year, either to re-sign or sell abroad.
For
So I
sure.
think it's an obvious one where you get the value where you can, and if you plan to keep him long term, strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, took it right out of my mouth, G. I think you re-sign, make sure you keep that value for a potential move on. I know for me, man, I'm worried that with his productivity kind of starting to, I don't want to say like plateau, but we've definitely seen a little bit of a decline in how he's being used in Austin's midfield this year under Nico Estevez. I just think that like maybe we're starting to see his ceiling being met a little bit more. Because like I look at a player like Owen Wolf,
Mm.
where we're seeing a lot of that like year over year improvement.
Yeah.
Not so much with Danny. Obviously he's getting in his mid-20s, so not quite the young buck that we originally picked up in the super draft. But I think for the number, it's a pickup for me as well. So I like that move as well. Let's go ahead and look at everyone's favorite backup striker, Diego Rubio, at a nice, comfortable 208K. I mean, we're picking that up for sure, right?
It's to continue with the obvious streak, like I think he'll turn 33 or something like that, 33-ish this offseason.
Okay.
We're going into next season. I think this is the final year where he exceeds the value of his contract. I think as we move in 2 years plus, it starts to be kind of we've seen it time and time again with our team, with the Will Bruins and guys of that nature who are the veteran we bring in for a year or two. Ethan Finley, right? They have a couple years of good production off the bench, and then it's kind of like, all right, well, we can get the next version of that who's 31 now and can stay on a contract for 2-3 years. So I think he's another obvious pickup, especially with the Brandon Vasquez injury. He played well in kind of a complementary role to Izuni in spots, either as a dual striker or as kind of a creative 10 in the midfield. So I think he's a no-brainer. You bring him in for at least half the season where he gets good play, and then he's kind of a depth piece for you, hopefully through a deep Leagues Cup run and season run. So
yeah,
another obvious one.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the big selling point for me is that we're still in that search for, our true creative 10. And he might be the closest thing, unfortunately, that we really have that could even serve as some kind of serviceable, creative player like that.
Yeah.
When he was coming off the bench for that role, like you were saying, for that money, it's a no-brainer to go ahead and keep that on. So I like that. He's staying for sure. Also, we got a picture with him at the All-Star Fest. So
yes, we did.
He's a definitely pick up for sure. Must have.
For sure.
Ilie Sanchez, I think the first not obvious option that we have here. 600K guaranteed. What do we got?
Yeah, that 600K number is really what does it for me, right? Again, he's in that approaching his mid-30s. He was solid for us in most of his appearances. He's a guy that's not going to mess up, but he doesn't really raise your ceiling consistently in a way that the salary would beg for. So I will say he's a guy that I'd be happy to keep around at half the price, right?
Right.
If we say, all right, let's sign him for another 1-on-1, give him 350K and have him be kind of like your first guy off the bench and spot starter when you need that calming presence, I'd be happy for another year of that and then just kind of kick the can down the road another year and see how his contributions are in 2026 before you decide to keep him another year or two. So I'm going to say decline specifically because of his contract number, but I would not be surprised if we keep him around as a depth piece and kind of a locker room presence because there aren't many guys like Ilie Sanchez in MLS.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I think it's important that I ask this question now because I see here for Julio Cascante, another locker room presence for Austin FC. I think we can both agree with that. But I see here you have him listed as a decline and renegotiate because he's our single TAM player at, 8.5K essentially.
Yeah.
Would we not want to maybe do a renegotiation with Ilie? Is that kind of what you're saying? Or?
Essentially, right? We decline it, and then we give him the option to stick around for a more club-friendly salary. So that's essentially what I'm thinking. I didn't put that in writing because I did say renegotiate for Julio, but now just off the dome on the improv, I'm like, I would want to keep him. I wouldn't be mad at it.
Kind of like what we did with Rubio situation last season, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And since you brought up Julio, I'll just jump to that. Well, actually, what do you think? I didn't get your take on Ilie.
For Ilie, no, I think, again, this isn't one that there was much difference of opinion in. I think for his age, his numbers, there's definitely a little bit more of that decline from, his MLS Cup winning year with LAFC. So he's definitely more of that locker room presence player that you were saying that would be helpful to keep on and help mold those players like Nico Dubrasarski, and even, Danny, who's still trying to find his way as a MLS like consistent starting presence.
Too many pulling on the jersey yellows, like Ilie would never.
Right. Which Ilie in his day was known for at SKC and
he's grown beyond that.
Exactly. But yeah, so now moving back to Julio on the defensive
Yeah.
side of things, what are we
So
thinking there?
he's a guy. He has a nostalgia factor, right? He's a day one dude for us.
Mhm.
He was brought in, like he has the trust of the coach in the locker room to be brought in for those big moments in the Open
For sure.
Cup and the end of the season run, playoffs. Um, I think so. I said decline and renegotiate, and I say that because Austin has all of the leverage here. Julio
Mhm.
can't make that money anywhere else.
Right.
He's aging out of his prime. Yes, he's still
Mhm.
getting Costa Rica call ups, and that's great. Um, but no other team at MLS will pay him that money. He seems like a guy that really enjoys his time in the U.S., so he's likely to stick around. Like I said, he's
Mhm.
been here for going on 6 years now in Austin. Has a
Yeah.
family, is entrenched in the community, has his friends, and so he's a guy that I'd be happy to renegotiate for a very, very, very club friendly salary, like a BHI salary. Get him a closer to 350, 325, and say, hey, we'll
Mhm.
keep you here till you retire, right? In theory, for the next couple of years, we'll get you on a 2-year contract at 300 something K. We'll get you your coaching license, like whatever you want. You're still contributing in a way. You are the locker
Mhm.
room presence. Yeah, you have a good bond with the team, and we need depth at center back, right? We might as well keep what we have from what worked, that what
Yeah.
helped us this last season, and add value on top of that, then create more gaps for us to fill, and again cause kind of a shaky foundation and one that's really strong right now. So I think we renegotiate with him to more of a BHI level salary because I truly believe we have all the bargaining power here as a club.
Yeah.
So that's my thought.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, and I think just for the fans listening and all that stuff, I mean, just the numbers kind of speak for themselves. Between 2021 and 24, I mean, Cascante had 115 appearances, 9 goals, 10 assists.
Mm-hmm.
That dropped dramatically in 2025 under Nico Esteves, but only playing 10, 15 matches. I think logged up to 760 minutes, no goals, no assists. He had that awesome scorpion kick.
Yeah,
Can't
that's right.
remember when that was. Is that league play or Open Cup play? I can't
Doesn't
remember.
matter.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, he still has his moments. But yeah, I think if we can keep that at a club friendly number, I am with you there. Looking at keeper, we
Mm-hmm.
have Stephen Cleveland. Uh, really, really good backup from Seattle. But 274K, what are you thinking there?
I love the guy. I would be happy if we kept him.
Mm-hmm.
But and I say that because originally I put resign, right? And that was my
Mm,
thought. But this
yeah,
morning I see on Twitter Damian Loss thanking, what is it, Louisville? Wherever
Louisville.
yeah,
Yep.
Louisville, for 2 great years. Everybody's saying, we'll miss you so much. Like, best of luck in your career. All signs pointing to him coming back. Now, to be completely frank, I have not looked back at Twitter in like 7 hours since I looked at all that. I did a quick
Sure.
search to see if any like sources or rumors are about of him being sold or loaned elsewhere, and I
Right.
found nothing. So my assumption is that he's back to Austin. So with that news, I think it's time we give the man his opportunity. We re-signed him
Mm,
already at the beginning of this calendar year. I think we decline Stephen Cleveland's contract. Say thank you for the memories. Your one appearance in that hype video, for the pregame hype video from the League's Cup game against Pumas, will live in infamy. Shout out to the
right.
man. And we give Damian Loss some real minutes in like League's Cup group play, in, I don't know, midweek MLS games, and we actually give him a real shake, because we've invested in him, and yes, we've invested in Brad Stuver, but I think now's the
Yeah.
time where you start seeing Stuver kind of get his rest, play maybe 31, 32 games a year. Loss gets 2, 3 appearances. We move on to
Hmm.
2027. Stuver's maybe playing 28 a year. Loss gets 6 appearances, and then we face him. We flip it on its head.
Yeah.
So decline Cleveland because we have Damian Loss actually contributing for this club now. That's just my bet.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot of moving parts to this as well. I think for me, one thing that I'm looking at is the senior roster spot, especially being held up by a keeper. At
Yeah.
that price point, it's one of those things where we've got to figure out how to maximize where we can. That's always the game in MLS, right?
Yep.
And so I think for me, if we have Loss that's listed as a homegrown, he would come in and not take that senior roster spot. he would kind of serve as that Owen Wolf type signing where there's no
Yeah.
cap hit there. But like, I really do agree with what you were saying there, where it's like he had a good run at the number 2 spot, but it is time. I think the fans would agree. Damian has been doing his part in the USL, showing week in, week out that he's capable of being between the posts there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the man for real. So yeah, I've also got a decline for Stephen Cleveland as well.
Again, I would be happy if he stayed. I just want to put that out
Yeah.
there. I'd be happy with it. So
I think he's listening right now, Brian. I think that's a personal attack. So
no, dude, stop.
looking over at some of our more notable faces on like Austin FC2 and stuff like that. We've got Jimmy Farkaloon. He is at I believe it's the supplemental minimum at 80K, 80,622.
Yep.
You've got pickup. I've got decline. Let's box. What do we got?
13 goal contributions and 24 appearances for Austin FC2. Call ups for Liberia. I think he has earned a second look. He'll likely play Austin FC2 minutes most of next season. But I think he's a guy. I mean, he played in his debut after he got signed 6 minutes for Austin FC. I think it was against KC. And so, we've given him a nod before. I think he's a guy that's on a CJ Faudree path for the club, where we believe in him. He's contributing at the second team level, and we'll give him a couple nods here and there in the next year or two if we keep him beyond next season. But I think we keep him just because he's taken up next to no money. Essentially, you're not going to find many other players that can take that spot in this year's Super Draft that are going to contribute as well as he did. There's only a few guys a year that do that. We had Faudree a couple years back. Now we had Jimmy doing it. And so I think we keep him around because it's a well-known face on the roster spot that is taken up by kind of transitory guys. So
for sure. Yeah. Those supplemental roster guys are always going to be kind of those just fringe players, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, everything that you listed was what I had for keeping him. Something tells me though, especially with how low his wage is, it's just going to be one of those unfortunate misses for us where it's like, yeah, he'll just randomly not get declined. We won't really know exactly what it was, but Rodo will want to move on and try to incrementally improve at those margins. So that's why I have the same thing going for Riley Thomas, who is at the exact same supplemental minimum at 80,622. But you and I are saying to decline and sign to Austin FC2 for Riley Thomas.
Yeah, I think it makes the most sense. We have a pretty heavy logjam of rotational guys at the outside back position. We have 4 guys that can play, including John Gallagher. And so I think that position's pretty full. I don't think Riley Thomas would really get much PT anyway. So I think you free up that spot. You may be re-signing to Austin FC2, assuming that that's a thing that can happen, that the leagues allow easily. And then you use that supplementary spot to sign, some creative midfielder from college this offseason and give him a nod or whatever. Sign a different guy, center back, Alonso Rumi.
Yeah, I mean, looking at him, man, he's going to be 23 or is 23 right now. So that, I mean, they're probably, I'm guessing Roto is looking to phase him out of the Austin FC2 roster. I don't know if there's going to be a move down to USL or something like that. But I can see us not picking up his contract as well. So, yeah, I said last episode that Austin was going to move on from no less than 5 of these contracts.
How many did you say?
After talking it out and doing a little bit of homework, I mean, it feels like your preheated take this year or this week is that we're going to keep most of these. And I think I like it.
Yeah,
no, I don't.
I'll put an asterisk on that because we might technically decline more than 4, which would be more than half. We might technically decline 5 of these with Ilie and Julio included, but then we might renegotiate with Ilie and Julio or Cleveland even, right? And see if we can get a more team-friendly deal. So hey, if you want to be technical and rest on those technicalities, I may be wrong with the preheated take. But when we see 5 of these guys back on the team next season, I will have been
Right.
right regardless. So,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Zero surprise on this end for
yeah.
sure. Well, yeah. Speaking of surprises, though, let's go ahead and boogie on over into halftime because there was definitely a big surprise over in the NWSL playoffs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the road to the final in San Jose just got way more interesting after this weekend's quarterfinal matches left many fans in the league stunned as number 8 Gotham upset number 1 Shield winning Kansas City Current at CPKC
Yeah,
Stadium 2-1. That was
absolutely
a
insane.
bonkers game.
I didn't
Bonkers.
register it when you texted me because I started watching the San Diego game already. And that started with 30 minutes or so left in the Gotham KC game. And
Right.
it didn't really register what was happening. I was like, bro, I'm locked in right now. Leave me alone. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
why
yeah.
aren't you watching San
Watching
Diego?
my wave.
But then once you said, like, oh shit, Gotham win, I was like, oh, wait, that's the AC that barely snuck in. Yeah, they
Yes.
fell on the last day and had the hardest matchup in the league. And all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
the former champ does their job and knocks out
Yeah.
the biggest player. So that was insane to see in hindsight. I was like, wait a minute, that means like a lot. What am I doing?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, I had Kansas City going all the way. I mean, they just seemed like they were so unstoppable. But ultimately, looking back at this, it looks like injuries, I think, just kind of crept up at the worst
Mhm.
possible time in that
Yeah,
final skid of the season. Because I mean, when you got Houston beating you
yeah,
there at the tail end of the season, something's up.
true,
The jig is up.
true.
But yeah, that was mainly the only big. I say the only. I mean, it was the biggest
Yeah,
upset of the playoff series. Everything else, all the seeds 2 through 4. So that's Washington Spirit, Portland Thorns, and Orlando Pride.
yep.
All advanced from their matchups respectively. I think Orlando and Seattle were the only game to advance in regulation.
Oh
There's a
wow.
cool moment
Yeah.
there, yeah, because all the other games, 3 of those 4 ended up going into extra time, and I think Washington, Louisville got into PKs if I'm not mistaken, and
Hmm.
so it was one of those dramatic type NWSL weekends.
Mm.
I know Marta had a moment there at the end of that game against Seattle, Reign, going full gas.
Yep.
She earns a penalty and then gives her teammate Luana, who was overcoming cancer. I think it was last season, if I recall.
Hmm.
And they awarded her the penalty or gave her the penalty to shoot. She makes it. They win 2-0 at home.
Yeah. Tears from
Storybook
viewers
ending.
across the country. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a really cool moment there, and so
Yeah.
they advance, and then yeah. Any of these other matchups that
Well,
you wanted to chat on? I
of
know
course,
San Diego.
I got to talk about the San Diego one.
Go for it.
I think at the end of it all, San Diego just, I don't want to say they lost the game because Portland earned their goal. Portland bunkered, did their job, weathered the storm, took it to extra time, and then scored right away
Yeah.
when San Diego was on the back heel after tiring themselves out. But I think San Diego had every chance to win the game in the last 25 minutes or so
Hmm.
of regulation. They created so many opportunities and then got to the around the box and just kind of lost. Like, oh, no one's going to shoot it. Okay, well, now I'm crowded with my back to the goal with 4 people around me, and we
Yeah,
lost the ball again. And the ball kept getting recycled out and into dangerous positions, and then nothing came of it.
for
They had a
sure.
few great opportunities that just skimmed the bar or hit the bar or just skimmed past the
A lot of
post.
woodwork. Yeah,
Yeah, but shout out Portland. They're a good team. They did exactly what they planned to do in that moment, and San Diego couldn't capitalize. So great season regardless. They were not as high as I expected them. Maybe halfway through the season, I thought they would be in the top
hmm
3, top 4, hosting a playoff game. But still, I mean,
yeah,
Portland's a great environment, so it was an awesome game to watch.
for
Uh,
sure. Yeah.
but sad to see San Diego Wave fall. So
I
sad.
feel that, man. Well, hey, the invite is always there. The Houston Dash and I welcome you to join us on our comfortable off-season sofa to watch the remaining teams duke it out for the championship. I know you were talking that noise all season long,
Whatever, dude. You like
but
it. Real quick
calling it up
before we
right
close
where
it
we
out.
are, pal.
Before
What's
we close
that?
it out, who do you think takes it all? The remaining 4 teams, I believe that the last 4 champions of NWSL are all in the
Correct.
semifinal. So
Yeah.
who trumps?
I feel like right now Orlando is heating up in a good way. Washington is able to duke it out and hold out. Uh, I feel like Orlando is probably gonna try and go for that repeat, dude. I feel like
You think?
it's in their favor because I think they're at home.
Yeah, they're at home
Um,
against Gotham. Yeah, they're the higher seed.
yeah,
But for the
yeah.
final, you think they'll win away at Spirit?
I think if they can get there, yeah, they will. They will do the business. So I've
Yeah.
got Orlando, but I don't know, man. Something about Portland also has me feeling good too. They're just a solid team. That midfield with Sam Coffey, Jess Fleming, who former Chelsea Blue, was finally starting to heat up.
Yep.
I could see them doing some good too. So between Orlando or Portland, that's
Yeah.
all I've got. That's all I got. What about you? What about you?
Well, as I said that I remembered the final is a neutral site, right? They're hosting the final
At San
at
Jose.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
PayPal Park, right? So I
Yeah,
think technically, geographically, if it's not Portland, it's just going to be because they're on the West Coast. If it's
right.
Orlando Spirit, like you're saying, it's truly a
Mm-hmm.
toss up because I like no one has home field advantage necessarily, and so
Correct.
yeah, man, I'm excited to see how it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if Spirit take it just because they've, like KC, they had a pretty dominant season. Obviously, KC was a different echelon, but wouldn't be surprised
For
if they
sure.
take it. I also would be happy if Portland won it because then the Wave lost to the team that won it all, and that always makes me feel a little bit better. So
Yeah.
either way, I mean, four deserving teams who've all won it in the past 4 years. I'm excited to see how it plays out, but we just got a couple weeks left and it's over. So
Yeah. I think the semifinals are this coming weekend,
mhm.
the 15th and the 16th, and then the final, I believe, is November 22nd, and you'll be able to catch that on Paramount Plus.
Yep.
So it's gonna be wild, but yeah. Other than that, I think we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll look at the MLS side of things, see how first round of the playoffs and the best of three series shaped out,
Mm-hmm.
and how the remaining teams made it to the semis. We'll be
Let's
right
do it.
back.
Yep.
And we're back. After navigating through the round one best of three series in the playoffs, 8 teams will play single elimination match. Whoa, say that fast. Single elimination. Single elimination. All right. Anyway, single elimination matches across November 22nd through the 24th. 5 of the 8 first round playoff series matchups required the consequential Game 3, and all of them did not disappoint. And for those keeping track of the remaining matchups, Vancouver bested Dallas in 2, Philly advanced past Chicago in 2, and then we don't need to talk about that other matchup that finished in 2 games.
We don't.
Okay.
Already did.
So, Lobar,
Yeah.
I guess we'll just keep this conversation on my guy because I could care less about how the rest of this action shapes up.
Such a
But
hater,
I think it's still fun entertainment soccer at its best in America, at least.
Yep.
So, did you get a chance to watch any of these games?
Yeah. I watched 4. I watched 3 of them. So we watched I lied. I watched one full game,
Okay.
a third of one game, and the PKs of another game. So you and I were playing some Rocket League, holding it down like we do.
What a
And we
save.
both turned on the Minnesota Seattle game to watch the PKs.
Yes.
And that was awesome. It went 11 rounds technically because it went to
10
the
round. Or, yes, you're right. You're right.
so
Mm-hmm.
went all the way to 11th. Andrew Thomas, Seattle's surprise starting keeper for the last year. He broke his
Did his
pinky, or
best.
I never figured out what it was, but he jacked his finger up on the very first PK.
Yes.
And then had multiple saves. He had 5 saves, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
4 saves, and then went all the way down to Dane St. Clair and Andrew Thomas for the PKs. St. Clair slotted his nice and easy to the corner, and then Andrew Thomas did his thing.
Yeah.
Got what
his
is it?
best Kepa impression.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Straight up. You literally said, "Don't Kepa," and then bro just nailed the crossbar.
Yeah, 10 points
Yeah.
for sure.
And a loss. So that game made MLS really happy because the third game of the best of 3 was very exciting. So shout out them for making MLS their money.
Yeah.
I also watched final third of the Columbus Cincinnati game, so I turned it on right when Columbus had
Mhm.
scored. And I was like, "Oh shit, upset! Hell is real. This is crazy." And then, literally like 2 minutes later, Evander has a beautiful corner into the mess of the box, and it falls right to Brenner, ties the
Yeah.
game up. Just like 3.5 minutes after Columbus scored, and I was like, "Oh damn!" And then 20 minutes later, Brenner does it again. The ball just ends up deep in the box, gets laid off right to him. He slots it to the corner, and
Yeah.
Cincinnati takes it all. So, big season for Columbus. I'm pretty sure I saw that there's rumors that he might, or that Wilfred Nancy might end up in shit. Where was it? Was it Germany? No, I'm blanking on where it was. My coworker, who's a Crew fan, was like, "Hey, did you see
Yeah.
the rumors?" Right when the season ended, it all came out. But regardless, he's getting immediate.
Somewhere abroad.
Yeah, he's getting immediate looks in Europe. It was fucking Scotland,
Rangers.
Celtic or whatever.
Celtic.
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 I can't remember
Celtic.
what the guy said. I remember we talked about this sometime this year, and the dude was like,
Yes.
"Guys,
Yes.
it's this."
Yes.
I was like, "Shit, sorry." I think it's Celtic because he's like, "It's like Boston." If it wasn't, shit, my bad, dude. That was a long time ago. Tell us again.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, end up in Scotland. So, um,
Cool.
and then I watched the Miami game. Miami dominated Nashville. It was sad to see. They scored 4 on them. Messi did his thing. No Suarez because he's serving his bans for headbutting a dude or whatever he did, hitting a guy in the
Right.
face.
Being dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
biting a guy. I don't know. That was a long time ago, but
Mhm.
being dumb, and they still put 4 on them. So, it made me sad seeing that because it should have been us, bro. The Open Cup final, but all in all, some fun action. A lot of different types of games. A blowout,
Yeah.
a comeback, a penalty, a dramatic penalty shootout. So very MLS slate of games that I got to see. And then I played
For
some
sure.
FIFA with my little brother and just dominated him to celebrate.
Oh, nice, dude.
So it was a good
Oh,
night
that's the best.
all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just I
Lots
think
of
I
footy.
won one game like 11-0 before he quit.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Anyway,
Hell yeah, dude.
let's play off.
Yeah, I know the game that I watched. It was NYCFC at Charlotte for Game 3, and I was super surprised because I think it was Nico Gonzalez. I think was his name, or Hernandez. I apologize for getting that name wrong, but their new DP basically
Mm-hmm.
scoring a brace to help advance them past Charlotte in the round of 3. And I was just thinking to myself, man, what is it like to have a DP that can just take the ball
Yeah.
on his own and just like be a monster and score,
Yeah.
And it made me upset.
We'll
That's
never
the
know.
problem with these playoffs is it gets me upset because I'm automatically just like projecting everything as if it was Austin FC. And why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? It's a terrible way to be a fan. I don't recommend it. But yeah, that was a fun game. Wilfred Zaha, I forget that he's a hothead for sure. There's also that nasty injury to Andres Pereira,
Let's not talk
nasty
about it.
ankle fracture there.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then I think the other game I stayed up to watch was the absolute drubbing. I mean, pants down, boxers down, just in the cold after swimming, bro. Like San Diego absolutely destroying Portland, dude. It
Yeah.
was nuts. 4-0. They could go all the way, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I bet on it when I was in Ohio for that wedding. They have real sports betting, and I did put a $5 bet on San Diego winning it all.
Yeah.
Unashamed. And Anders Dreyer, they're not going to give it to him, but in my opinion, he deserves MVP.
I agree.
I know Messi's in this league, so he's going to get the MVP as long as he's playing enough games to qualify.
Sure. Right,
But the
right,
dude
right.
came in
Fair.
and just absolutely dominated this league.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knew who he was
Yeah.
10 months ago,
Right.
So shout out to him. Best player on the best team kind of argument, but he's not just that. He's one of the top 2 players in the league. So at least statistically this year. So shout out to that dude. I'm excited to keep watching them because they have a very exciting attack and an amazing defense.
Yeah, the attack is insane, dude. I mean, Amal Pellegrino
Pellegrino,
also.
yeah.
I forget that he played abroad. Was it Haken or something like that? But dude just has an awesome touch for a volley shot, and I mean, he gets a really nice one for his brace to have them go up 3-0. And then at the end there,
Yeah, Dryer does
was
it
it
again.
Dryer off
Yeah,
of
he had a brace
a
too.
Chucky Lozano, assist. I mean, it's just they come off the bench and it's Lozano, DP like first name. It's like, all right,
Cool.
it is what it is. After having a little hissy fit for whatever feeling
Yeah.
emotion guy, I don't know. Like this team is insane, but it's gonna be a good watch. I hope they beat the crap out of LAFC.
Mm-hmm. That'll be a big game. The
It will.
rivalry.
It
That's
will.
that's the real way to build a rivalry. Yes, geographically they're
Yeah.
hyping it up, but like meeting in the second round of the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs with two 2026 MVP candidates, early calling it three really if you want to include Buanga and Son and
For
Dryer.
sure.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to watch that one.
Yeah. It'll be. I just know the security needs to be beefed up a little bit more. I
Yes,
don't want those repeats of those
dude,
brawls up there in the second level of the stadium.
for
That's
real.
wild. Because shit happens in the playoffs with LAFC. I'll tell you.
Yep.
Anyway, well, that's that. Do you have any surprises or anything? I guess I should ask that. Just like who do you think takes
I
it and moves on in the semis?
I think it's whoever wins the San Diego LAFC matchup. Truly, I don't
Okay.
think Miami does it. I don't think they can do it, and I'll
I don't
probably
think
be
so either.
wrong. But
Yeah.
I think whoever wins the San Diego LAFC matchup will win it all.
Hot.
Yep.
God. I wish we could attack, bro. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop it right there and move into stoppage time.
Yep.
So, looking at some international call-ups, we've got Julio Cascante, Alexander Svatak, Mirto Uzuni, and Danny Pereira, all getting call-ups for the final window of World Cup qualifiers. I should have checked that. Is that, in fact, the last window for World Cup qualifiers, at least for the
Yeah, it's
Ukrainian national team?
final
And
game for most teams. I'm pretty sure.
okay. Because I think I saw something where like US had one more window after this. It's like the second to last window. But that was before the actual
hosting.
World Cup.
Yeah. And it's friendlies or something. Who knows? Games 9 and 10. So whatever that means, that's what they are.
There you go.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Also, I want to shout out Jimmy and Micah Burton and Alonso Ramirez, I think, too, got a call up.
Oh,
to the whatever teams, and also Jimmy for Liberia for their game. So shout out the FC2 kids for doing their thing.
For sure.
I don't think any of these guys will see the World Cup, respectfully, but
right.
Badass that they're competing for spots in the final games, the do or die games for most of these teams. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Uzuni does his thing and builds that momentum and plays his ass off so that they make the World Cup. Assuming Albania and Sweden still can. I don't even know, dude. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know where the UEFA rankings are for all of that, but I know England is in there for sure. But other than that,
Reece James.
There you go. Moving on to the next point, we forgot to mention this last week, but by this point, this news had already leaked that St. Louis City FC signed Corey Ray to be their new sporting director. That's an interesting move there.
Where was he most recently? Montreal?
I think it was Montreal. And I think most recently at Toronto, but before that, Montreal. Or I could be wrong. Maybe I have them flipped.
He was at Toronto, Montreal,
Canada.
Columbus.
That's what it was.
Three teams.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what order, but he's being touted as a great signing for St. Louis City. He's an experienced MLS roster builder. He has 3 MLS Cups, 7 or 9 Canadian Cups, and an Open Cup, 2, some other cup under his belt.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's a good signing for them. A team who started off really strong, has some good potential still, but needs a rebrand. So smart pick for them, for St. Louis City, to get an MLS guy.
Yeah, all I'm hearing is like road tested and proven in this league specifically, which we found out, first off from,
Reyna.
Reyna, and then from Rodo, kind of maybe over exaggerating his global experience as opposed to this more niche, localized MLS dominance or knowledge base. having someone that really knows the ins and outs of this league can only be a benefit, I imagine. So you got to be careful for those guys up there. Looking at other MLS contract decisions being announced, we have some notable names to include here, like Walker Zimmerman, Christian Espinoza, Johnny Russell, Eric Tommy, Giacomo Veroni, and Ethan Bartlow, as all getting options declined and are now officially free agents. Are there any names there that you immediately want to snap up?
Yeah, there's two names that I would, depending on the cost, I would immediately be like, yeah, for sure. Walker Zimmerman, Christian Espinoza. If they took a pay cut, and not be DPs, I'd be cool with it.
Sure.
Even like an Eric Tommy, I think would be a useful piece on this team, barring injury and again salary. Johnny Russell will be a fun, vibe to have around, but he's getting older.
For sure.
Concerns, So I think Espinoza and Zimmerman, even a Tommy, could be like a good MLS level veteran that could still contribute.
Yeah, that feels like a MLS lifer, like a Ethan Finley kind of type beat, right?
Right. Yeah. I know you were really excited about Ethan Bartlow and all the other Houston dudes.
Just go ahead and bring them all over.
Yeah.
They can
Bartlow, Scaras, who's the other?
All good, brother. Yeah. We can talk about the East End and how they're finally going to put fans and cooling in the stadium now. So that way, when they lose, at least the fans will be cool. So
there you go. Talk that shit, bro.
Yeah. This got in a weird place, bro. I don't know. I would also like Walker and Christian Espinoza, I'll be honest, because I think Christian, well, if I'm not mistaken, I think Bouanga is now our most lethal opponent in MLS play. But Christian is up there and was up there for a good bit.
Yeah, he always finds a way to create something.
Yeah,
us, so.
For sure. We talked about this before, but as an official stoppage point, we have The Athletic reporting that MLS owners are set to vote on fall spring calendar and season format changes. We both had a chance to look at that article. Lobar, hit us with your highlights.
I'm intrigued. They're talking about, so I'll start with the season format changes because it's a pretty stark shift from how it is now. So they scrap conferences and make it a single table is the idea. So 30 teams on a single table, the top 16 or whatever, 18 would make the playoffs and play in. And then there would be, I think, 5 divisions of 16 each that are geographically organized. Everybody in the division would play the other division members twice each for 10 total games, and then play every other team in the league once to equal 34 games. So it'd be very much like the NBA, the NFL, right? Aligned with American sports in that way, but aligning with European footy in the way that there's no
that single table.
Yeah, right. No conferences. It's just single table supporter shield essentially. It's just
I was going to say we already have that format in the supporter shield.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and so I find that interesting. Apparently, there's going to be some overhaul to the playoff format as well. Like for example,
you don't say.
Oh, right. I know it's a theme here. With the divisions being considered, if they do go forward with that, the winner of each division will get an automatic spot in the playoffs, which is obvious because they'd be 5 of the top teams in the league. So of course they're going to be in the playoffs regardless. But if it's anything like the old NBA format, the division leaders all would get home court advantage. They'd be the top seeds for each conference. So regardless if their record was worse than others. So if it's something like that, that could be an interesting fold. That would probably be controversial, but interesting nonetheless, to where there's like a benefit to winning your division beyond just making the playoffs. You get like guaranteed home field advantage for one game or whatever. So that could be interesting. But do you want to talk about what the fall spring, kind of the reasoning why Don Garber is really pushing for the fall spring calendar piece?
Yeah, I don't have that up right now, but if I'm not mistaken, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, a big part of it is transfers. So the transfer windows.
Yes.
So Don Garber kind of said in so many words that he believes a big reason the MLS hasn't been able to capitalize on sales of players and capitalize on purchases of players, bring in players, is because the biggest transfer window in the world is the summer window, because that's the off season for most leagues. And the summer
Correct.
window for the US is 20 games into a 34 game season. A lot of teams are hesitant to shake things up, either with sales of stars where they can make a lot of money, or bringing in a new, number one kind of guy to change the course of their team. Granted, that can work to people's favor, like Son and LAFC, for example.
Right.
But it's still a hesitancy that people have of like, well, I can't just change everything. We're in the final push for playoffs, or we're looking at Open Cup play or League Cup play is starting up. Right? All these things that are factors.
Yeah.
So a big reason is the transfer schedule and allowing MLS to be a big player in the transfer world.
Yep.
Bigger player.
That makes sense.
But then also just the general global soccer calendar, not competing as much with NBA and NFL and the other big sports schedules. So
Heard.
Don's doing his thing. He's cooking, bro.
He's trying, G. He's trying. I still haven't got my paycheck for all those Apple TV appearances, but anyway.
True.
That's a whole different thing.
Cue the song.
Looking at looking at some USMNT news, we've got Gio Reyna getting a call up. What seems like a really long time. I think it was last spring, right?
Something like that, yeah.
He'll be set to suit up and face Paraguay.
Yeah, it's just it was a big shock apparently in the soccer media world. He'd fallen out of favor.
Are you pro Gio Reyna, or do you even?
He's a good soccer player, so if he's on his shit, our team's better with him. But if he's on his like Reyna family type shit, he's could be a negative in the locker room. So I don't know. I don't really care. I think we should bring the best players from the best leagues to our team and see how they do. So I don't know. Cool. Good for him. Yeah, it's interesting. See how that goes. Yeah. If it goes well, that could be really helpful.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then, as always, closing it out with Chelsea. They go third in the Premier League table after a comfortable 3-0 shutout against the Wolves, who had just confirmed Edwards as their new boss the day after. Mm-hmm. So the ladies are still sitting pretty in second, still undefeated in league play after a 1-1 draw against Arsenal at the Emirates. I believe that was a goal from Alyssa Thompson, her first WSL goal. Love to see it. So how are we feeling about the Blues, boy?
Just Chelsea tanks, bro. It just is what it is. We expect greatness. We get greatness.
It remains.
You put 3 on the 20th place team in the league, and that's pretty dope. So you get more goals than they have points on the year.
That's right.
So, the competition was real tough that day, but we did our thing. Garnacho ran fucking 20 miles an hour or whatever to go.
Bro was skedaddling, bro. Yeah. He was quick with it.
So he was doing his thing. That was cool. You like to see people contributing in games they should be contributing. So, all a good thing. Shout out Chelsea, best club in the world.
Things we don't get to see in the Verde and Black.
For 100-year war, believe, brother.
That's right. Sorry, believe. I'm just sticking out my first route, I believe.
How long did it take Chelsea to win Champions League?
Champions League? Oh my God, dude. Well, 1905. I can't do the math. 2012.
107 years, bro. So in 101 years, when we're 130, whatever the fuck, we'll have won everything.
And it took him 50 years to win the damn league. So exactly. We've got a little bit of a ride to buckle ourselves up for.
We'll be maybe alive if that's the schedule.
You will maybe be alive. I will be probably on my 40th marathon at that point. I don't know. I'm gonna start manifesting these things.
We'll be in our physical prime at 80.
Right. Yeah. They'll essentially like port my consciousness onto like a USB, some sort of thing, upload it to the cloud. I don't know, that whole Black Mirror episode.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it, it's weird.
We're getting there now. Austin win it all. So
there you go.
Worth it.
And that's about time to wrap it up when we start talking Black Mirror and consciousness. I'm down. So as always, we appreciate y'all kicking it with us on this episode of the Verdependent podcast. I'm Paul Fletes. You can find me online at PaulAndrewFC. It's a government name.
And I'm Logan Bartlett. You can catch me online at LobarVHLM.
And as always, keep the chatter going online by following at the Verdependent on socials. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And again, just a friendly reminder, because it is Movember, reach out to your guy friends, make sure everyone's doing okay. Reach out to us. We want to see y'all staying up, and
Yes, sir.
we're here for y'all. So anyway, that's an episode, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Oh, why are you screaming at me?
Oh my God.